All right, everyone. I want to do something different today, and I guess what is hopefully going to be my first kind of serious topic discussion. I don't know how long it's going to be, but we'll figure it out. So, what I wanted to talk about is cravings. I am just about a month out right now. Tomorrow's Monday, and that'll be 4 weeks. So, I wanted to talk about having cravings. I know in my personal experience so far, my cravings have been relatively limited, and I've been doing pretty good so far. I do read online pretty frequently that, there are some people where having the sleep procedure, they will not be hungry for a considerable amount of time afterwards. Some people have trouble even getting in like 3 meals/snacks a day as opposed to trying to eat about every 3 hours. Um, Other cases, people wake up completely hungry and having all the same cravings they did, and that's why they say it's so important to follow the program, because whether or not your body is dictating to you something different than before, it's really important to make sure that you're doing what they know will work best for you overall. So for me, I haven't had too many cravings, but I have had some. And just like I was trying to do in my time prepping for surgery, I had to do a lot of exercises and things like that, which quite honestly, I am really, really lazy when it comes to doing that stuff. And I didn't do it for a while. Just like for a long time, I wasn't actually physically writing down my food journal stuff. For a while, I was keeping it in my phone. And sometimes I'd put it in my notes. Other times I would keep it in an app. I was using, I can't remember the name of the app. But, doing that, it's helpful. But something about physically writing it down makes it more concrete for me. And they seem to realize that as well. So if you're not doing that, I highly suggest you do it, even if it seems stupid and it seems like a waste of time. For some reason, it seems to work better and it keeps you a little more accountable. But back to the subject of cravings. So when I was doing that kind of stuff and trying to prep for surgery, I had one sheet that really stuck out from the others. And essentially what it was is a cost benefit analysis of giving into temptation. So for instance, there was two different sections, and in one section you would essentially put your choice, which would be a positive choice, or your choice something negative. And then there was 4 different boxes in there, and you did the long-term and short-term positives, and then the long-term and short-term negatives of each discussion. So there was 4 boxes, each of them to be filled out for your good choice and your bad choice. And that form stuck with me because every time I was actually not too lazy to fill it out, the choice always came up to being the same answer over and over again. The short-term pleasure usually was, something like, I want to, I feel like it, I deserve it. But the long-term, always, every single time for doing it, was none. There's never a positive long-term for overeating or binging or gorging or going off. Just like there's no real short-term positives when it comes to it. Your only one is possibly relieving anxiety or satisfying yourself, giving into your temptation. And yeah, there's a little nuance and stuff like that, but overall, every single time, I would see that the 2 areas that mattered to me were none. There was no positives in what I was doing. And, it worked sometimes for me, but it was better than nothing. And it is something that stayed in my head, which the other forms didn't. And that's important to me. So I wanted to share that with you because that's something that I know in the future I'm going to have to work with as well. because I have had a couple times where I've had cravings. Now, because I am so recently sleeved, for me, it's an absolute no right now. So when those thoughts pop into my head, there's another thought that instantaneously pops into my head, which just is like, you cannot do this. It's not an option right now. And that's one of the reasons I'm, a little apprehensive about going too fast with trying all sorts of new foods right now. I really have been doing a lot of protein shakes and making everything pretty simplistic. And I'm in no rush to start eating hamburgers and sausages and all sorts of stuff like that. I'm taking it really slow and steady because I want to really make all these changes a big, huge, concrete part of my life before I try and start introducing anything that might make me deviate from how well I'm doing right now. So, the cravings I've had, I had a craving for sushi one time. That was pretty early on, maybe in the first week. And for those of you who don't know, sushi is my thing. I would eat it for every single meal of every single day for the rest of my life if I could. No joke. So, not being able to eat sushi like that is a big thing for me. And so I know that that's going to be something that comes up. Now, luckily, I'll probably never be able to eat the amount that I used to. But, I still have those cravings because ultimately I'm craving the fish. And luckily, that is something I'll be able to have. But I have had other, random cravings pop up. And it's usually for the same reason, which is that I'm hungry. It's very, very rare that a craving will happen when you're not hungry. So, first off, remember the fact that while we're doing this, there is no positive in the long term for the choices you're making. They're self-destructive. And I know it's hard to keep that in your head when you've got all the cravings happening at that time, but it's something. It's something to latch on to. And, maybe what I'll do is post another video later of the exact form. That way you guys can actually have a copy, or you can make your own copies or see it. Maybe I'll post it on my Instagram or something like that. But that way you guys will have a good idea of what your decisions are doing to you in the short term and the long term, because it will help you a little bit. So with the other cravings, like I said, right now, it's basically a non-issue for me. It happens and instantaneously is gone because a part of me is like, you do not have the ability to do that right now. And I do not want to hurt my stomach. I don't want to tear it. I had another surgery previously a long time ago, and I know what a leak feels like. I don't want to be hospitalized. I don't want to have any complications. I'm feeling pretty damn good, and I want to keep it that way. So I have been avoiding trying to stuff myself or have soda, have alcohol, all that kind of crap. So, yeah, I just want to let you guys know about that. And cravings are something that's going to happen. It's already happening, but it's something that the combination of this surgery, the size of our stomachs, and willpower are going to have to be a part of. Because if not, then we went through the craziest thing we could ever imagine doing to ourselves just to make it completely worthless. And I refuse to allow myself to do that, because this is the last chance I feel like I've got. And so far, I'm extremely pleased. So, stay positive, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you need some help, feel free to comment or reach out or anything like that. I'm going to try and keep on top of this kind of stuff as much as possible. Best wishes to everyone, and I'll talk to you guys soon.